While you sleep tonight, your brain will do some of its most important work. It will file the memories from today. It will clear out the waste that built up during the day. It will repair and restore. And Japanese women over 60 have been eating 5 specific foods before bed for centuries that help this overnight process run more completely. Today, I am walking you through all 5. What they are, why Japanese women eat them specifically before bed, and what each one does to support the brain's overnight work. Stay until the end. Food 5 is the simplest and most surprising one on the list. Subscribe. Let us get into it. 1. Yudofu, warm tofu. Yudofu is a dish associated with Kyoto, with the temple cuisine of Buddhist monks who have eaten it for centuries as an evening meal. It requires almost no preparation. A block of silken tofu, a piece of dried kombu in cold water, gentle heat until the tofu is warm throughout. That is it. Eaten slowly, quietly, as the evening settles. Tofu is made from soybeans, and soybeans are one of the richest plant sources of an amino acid called tryptophan. Tryptophan is the starting point of a chain reaction that the brain uses to prepare itself for the deep sleep where memory consolidation happens most powerfully. Think of it like stepping stones across a river. The first stepping stone is tryptophan from the tofu. The brain uses it to produce the second stepping stone, a calming chemical that settles the nervous system as the evening progresses. From there, as darkness falls and the body temperature drops, that calming chemical converts into the third stepping stone, the sleep signal chemical that tells the brain it is time for the overnight work to begin. When these stepping stones are in place, when tryptophan from the evening meal has provided the raw material for the whole chain, the deep sleep where memory filing and brain cleaning happen most thoroughly becomes significantly more accessible. Without adequate tryptophan in the evening, the chain is incomplete. The deep sleep is lighter, the overnight work less thorough. A study from MIT found that consuming tryptophan-rich foods in the evening significantly improved the depth and quality of sleep in adults over 60, and that the improvements in next morning cognitive clarity were directly linked to how thoroughly the overnight brain processes had run during the deeper sleep stages. How to eat it. Place a piece of dried kombu in cold water in a small pot. Add a block of silken tofu cut into cubes. Heat gently until warm. Do not boil. Eat in a small bowl with a dipping sauce of soy sauce, a little grated ginger, and spring onion. One serving, 1 to 2 hours before bed. Warm, quiet, calming. The stepping stones laid for the overnight work. 2. Walnuts, called Kurumi in Japan. Most people think of melatonin as something that comes from a supplement bottle. Very few people know that certain foods contain it naturally, and that walnuts contain more of it than almost any other plant food commonly eaten in the evening. Melatonin is the brain's own signal that the overnight work is beginning. When melatonin levels rise, the brain starts shifting into the mode where it runs its cleaning cycle, consolidates the day's memories, and repairs whatever needs repairing. Walnuts eaten in the evening provide a natural, gentle rise in melatonin, not the sharp spike of a supplement, but a soft, gradual increase that mirrors what the brain is naturally trying to do as the evening progresses. The brain receives the signal it was already sending to itself, slightly amplified, slightly earlier, slightly more clearly. At the same time, The omega-3 fatty acids in walnuts support the overnight repair processes that run alongside the cleaning and memory filing. They provide the raw materials for the maintenance work the brain does on its own connections and structures during deep sleep. Japanese women eat a small handful of kurumi, often with a little honey, or as part of a walnut sweet in the evening. The practice is particularly common in regions associated with sharp elderly populations. A study from the University of Texas found that walnut consumption significantly increased melatonin levels in the blood, and that those who ate walnuts regularly showed measurably better overnight brain cleaning markers and significantly better next morning memory performance compared to those who did not. How to eat them. A small handful of walnuts, about 6 to 8 halves, 1 to 2 hours before bed. Eat as they are, with a small drizzle of honey or alongside a warm drink. Available everywhere. One of the simplest and most effective before-bed brain foods on this list. 3. Kiwi. Kiwi fruit has become one of the most consumed fruits in Japan, eaten fresh as an evening snack, added to yogurt, or served as part of a light evening dessert. Japanese women over 60 are among the highest consumers of kiwi fruit per capita, and researchers studying sleep quality in this population noticed something consistent. Those eating kiwi regularly before bed showed measurably better sleep. Kiwi contains 2 things that are particularly relevant to the brain's overnight work. The first is serotonin, the same calming chemical that is the second stepping stone in the tryptophan chain we discussed in the Yudofu section. Kiwi is one of the very few foods that contains serotonin in a form the body can use directly. It does not need to be manufactured from an amino acid. It arrives ready-made. The second is folate, a compound that plays a specific role in the brain's overnight memory processing. Low folate levels are consistently associated with poorer memory consolidation during sleep. Adequate folate means the overnight filing system runs more completely. More of the day's experiences and information get properly stored. Together, serotonin and folate, Kiwi supports both the depth of sleep and the completeness of the memory work that happens within it. A study from Taipei Medical University specifically tested what happened when adults ate 2 kiwi fruits 1 hour before bed every night for 4 weeks. Sleep quality improved by 42%. The time taken to fall asleep reduced significantly. And crucially, participants reported measurably better memory function and mental clarity in the mornings that followed the better sleep nights. How to eat them. 2 kiwi fruits, peeled and eaten, or scooped from the skin, 1 hour before bed, every night. Available in every supermarket. One of the most specific and well-evidenced before-bed brain foods on this list. 4. Genmai Gayu, brown rice porridge. Okayu, rice porridge, is one of the most fundamental comfort foods in Japan. Genmai Gayu is the brown rice version, made by simmering brown rice in a large ratio of water until it softens into a porridge-like consistency. It is eaten when someone is unwell, when the weather is cold, when the evening calls for something warming and gentle. It is the most deeply comforting bowl in Japanese food culture. Brown rice contains complex carbohydrates, the kind that break down and release into the bloodstream slowly and steadily over several hours. When eaten in the evening, these complex carbs provide a stable, gentle supply of the brain's primary fuel source throughout the night. Not a spike, not a crash, a steady background supply. This matters enormously for the brain's overnight work. The cleaning cycle, the memory filing, the repair processes, all of these require fuel to run. They happen during sleep precisely because the body is at rest and resources can be directed entirely to the brain's maintenance work. But if blood sugar drops significantly during the night, as it can when the last meal was light or primarily protein, the overnight processes are interrupted. The brain's workers cannot complete their full shift without fuel. Think of the brain's overnight workers as a cleaning and filing team who have been given the whole night to work undisturbed. Brown rice porridge makes sure the building's power supply stays on all night. The lights stay on. The team can complete every task. Brown rice also contains magnesium, the same mineral we discussed in video 27, which specifically supports the overnight brain cleaning cycle. A study from the National Sleep Foundation found that adults who consumed complex carbohydrates in the evening showed significantly more complete overnight brain processing and measurably better next morning cognitive performance compared to those who ate no carbohydrates in the evening. How to make it. Rinse half a cup of brown rice. Add to 4 cups of water in a pot. Bring to a gentle simmer and cook for 45 minutes to 1 hour, stirring occasionally until the rice is very soft and the mixture has thickened to a porridge consistency. Season with a small pinch of salt. Eat warm 1 to 2 hours before bed. Add a small amount of miso if desired. 5. The simplest one on this list and the most surprising because it is not really a food at all in the way we usually think about food. A small teaspoon of honey in a glass of warm water drunk before bed. Called Hachimitsuyu in Japan, honey dissolved in warm water before bed is one of the oldest Japanese bedtime rituals. It is not dramatic. It is not complicated. 1 teaspoon of good quality honey in a glass of warm water drunk slowly before sleep. Japanese women, particularly older women in rural and traditional communities, have been doing this for generations as a general health and sleep practice. The specific brain benefit of honey before bed comes from a process that happens in the liver during sleep. During the night, the liver stores a form of fuel called glycogen, a reserve tank of energy that the brain draws on when no food is coming in. The overnight brain cleaning and memory consolidation processes, which run for 6 to 8 hours during sleep, draw heavily on this reserve tank. If the reserve tank is not adequately filled before sleep, the brain's overnight processes have to compete with the rest of the body for limited fuel. The cleaning and memory filing get less than they need. They run shorter, less completely. The morning brain fog is partly the result of an overnight shift that ran out of fuel before it was finished. Honey eaten in small amounts before bed, specifically honey, not sugar or other sweeteners, provides precisely the right type of fuel to fill this reserve tank efficiently without raising blood sugar significantly. Think of it like topping up a car's fuel tank before a long overnight journey. The journey runs completely. The destination is reached. A study from the University of Wales Institute found that a small amount of honey before bed measurably improved the liver's ability to fill its overnight fuel reserve, and that participants who took honey before bed showed significantly more complete overnight brain processing markers and measurably better memory performance the following morning compared to those who did not. How to take it. 1 level teaspoon of good quality raw or manuka honey dissolved in a glass of warm, not hot, water. Drink slowly 30 minutes to 1 hour before bed. Not more than 1 teaspoon. More would raise blood sugar too significantly. 1 teaspoon, warm water, every night. The simplest and most surprising before-bed brain ritual on this list. Tonight, while you sleep, your brain will do some of its most important work. 5 foods Japanese women eat before bed to make sure that work runs as completely as possible. One quiet evening. The brain's overnight work running more completely tonight than it did last night. Subscribe for new brain health videos. Leave a comment. Which of these 5 are you trying tonight? I will see you at the next video. Stay sharp.